Cool, man. Yeah, thanks. See, I'm already fumbling. Cool. Yeah, Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to me today. The reason why I wanted to speak to you is because we just started 2022 and you've already gotten pretty epic results within the past couple of weeks. And yeah, just wanted to come on here with you, chat, talk a bit about your progress so other people can see how quickly you can get results with 3D. So thanks for jumping on the call with me.
No worries. All good.
Cool. So yeah, I guess we can start by just telling us a bit about, because like you've gotten really good results in the past couple weeks. So I'm just curious, like where you were before we even started working together.
Yeah.
What you were doing then.
Yeah, definitely. So before this course, so I originally started my career in VFX texture artist and modeler. And then I became a freelance motion graphic artist. So I've always merged the two. But what I've never done is what really, before, well, maybe approached the course initially. I never really did a lot of lighting and shading, even though I was a texture artist in VFX. Like a lot of people do look dev now, but when I was doing it, I just had to literally texture the props and pass it on to the look dev team. So I never really got the foundations of, how light works, how materials work and things like that, really. Obviously, I understand how, texture maps work in that sense, because that was my job. But again, it's just bringing it all together and lighting it and making it look good with something that I just didn't have in my toolbox yet.
Yeah.
I think what appealed to me to your course was before I started, I saw a lot of variation. So I saw your tutorials on YouTube. And obviously I saw your website and also what the course would provide. And I think it really fit well with me because I have not very much experience in lighting, especially, and shading, especially to make it commercial, standard. That was something that was very important to me because I can model. It was quite frustrating as an artist because I could make very detailed models, but as lighting can make something look good or not very good.
Yeah.
That was my biggest frustration, really. So I thought, okay, I want to join this, and not only do I know how to shade things and understand materials better, which your course does, it also really helps me just like understand how light works, and also like I never again with my my first prop I've done with you so far, I never assumed like how much I had to figure out how to make a bottle look commercial. You don't think of that when you look at an image or a poster of a product. So it is initially, before I joined it, I was wondering, I was a bit daunted. I'm like, am I going to be able to do this? It's going to be a lot of work. But no, I found your course very that, you broke things up very easily. It's very easy to follow. And I think that was what really got me my results so quick, because I was able to break up, the whole thing itself felt over.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
You cut out for the past like 10 seconds. I don't know if
Oh,
there's an internet
no.
issue. Oh, it's okay. You can just
Yeah.
carry on where you left off.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No.
the internet
No.
just jammed there. It's okay. It happens.
Yeah. No, definitely. What I was just saying was, it's like, I think I was very, was thinking it's going to be very overwhelming, in all honesty, because I think shading, as and lighting, I think a lot of people are scared to approach it because there's a lot to understand, as in like how, like, for example, different materials like metal, how does plastic work, especially with lighting. That's the thing that I really had no idea, really. But no, yeah, like I'm really enjoying your course so far. It's really well broken up. It's easy to follow. It's I'm already understanding now, like, how, for example, how glass works, with the example that I do, which was, the bottle.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how to apply a glass material, but then with lighting, how to make it work, how to make, the refraction work, the reflections, things like that. That was something that I really struggled a lot with, again, to a commercial level, maybe on a novice level I could, but not definitely something I could, do for a client. So I think that's what definitely appealed to me. And already, look, I've done one piece and I'm very confident upon that, my reel, and on my website, and, putting that forward. Because again, as you know, before I came to your course, I was getting a lot of products work. But sadly, they wanted to see examples. And I think that was the part that made me turn it down. Because again, I can model it, I could texture it, but can I light it? Can I, shade it correctly? No, I couldn't. So I think that was ultimately what made me definitely apply for your course. So yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, like for you, as you just mentioned, like a big thing was you could do the modeling, you could do the texturing, but when a client wants like a render of their product, if you don't really know how to make it look good, not just on a novice level, but like on a commercial level that they could actually use, you actually like would hesitate when a client came with a project because you're like, oh, I don't know if I could even make that. And then you start to lose projects here or there. And it's not just enough to know that you can model and texture. It's like you need to know the whole suite, essentially, to put it all together. Interesting. Cool. So yeah, then once you did sign up, like how were you finding things? I know you haven't really we haven't been working together that long yet, but when it came to the lighting, the rendering, stuff like that, was there anything that you necessarily found like intimidating or struggled with, or anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think what I found difficult initially was, which is right. Obviously you wanted to see what a level I was, before going forward. So it was to set up my own scene, with the bottle, which is the stage one that, and again, it was that feeling of, I don't know what if I was doing was right. And, it was that frustration of, okay, I've got the lights, I've got everything in my, in front of me. I've got, I can easily throw all lights in this scene, but it was just that, it was that frustration and obviously my confidence of this doesn't look right. And I knew it didn't, but I didn't have the tool set to think, okay, but how can I correct this, Because again, you can, try and scour the internet, but, I really needed someone experienced, like yourself, a tutor who could be like, this is what you're doing wrong. And again, from our 2 calls so far, yeah, that's what's happened, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense now, Definitely it is. And again, like when I'm thinking now, as in my future products with you, I'm already now thinking about, okay, so I can apply, like for example, adding a light to the background of a product. I wouldn't think that, you see, and not because it's not something done. I think you always concentrate on lighting the front of the product, or maybe the sides, but not many people think, but what about behind it, or how does the background look, and things like that. And like you were talking about gradients and lights and stuff. I would never have noticed that before while looking at a commercial poster of a product, I just thought, oh, maybe that, there's some, different lights at the sides, or maybe they've applied some softbox filters, things like that, but never, and then, but once you broke it up in your course, I was like, okay, so that's how they do it, and that's how you'll approach something like that to make it look professional, But yeah, no, I'm really excited. Like, again, I've only done one with you, but I'm really looking forward, to seeing how many more I can do, and also what level I can keep progressing to. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's what I love to like see is like when you do like get like results and like you start to get excited about everything, like, oh, like let me, like, I want to do this and I want to do that, I want to do that, just because like you kind of have that confidence, like, oh, like if I did try a project, however crazy it might seem, it's like, okay, like I can go through all the steps and fix all the issues that I had before, and I you have that confidence that it's probably going to look good, you know. And that's what, like, I love seeing the excitement.
Definitely, because I think obviously I'm going to be honest, like, I think most people would probably might think as well, like, I'm doing this in my spare time, a lot aside of working. And I think, oh God, when people do courses, have they got the time for it? And of course, at the beginning, I was like, I needed a bit more time, but already after 2 weeks, I noticed I'm getting faster, And now I'm like, when I do something next, I'm like, oh no, but a week is long enough now, to at least get a first initial, render to a good level, out really there before I'm like, oh God, I picture, man, this will take 2 to 3 weeks, you know what I mean? So it's funny when you start, like get more confident, you're like, oh yeah, but the lighting doesn't, seem so intimidating. You actually realize how quickly you can do it, don't you? So yeah, no, it's cool, man. Honestly, I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like at the start, it does take a while to just like, it can take you a whole week to just model the thing, you know.
Yeah,
But then when you get better at modeling and once you get better at lighting and stuff, it goes from a week to just a few days until
yeah,
one day. And I can do something in a few hours. And I sometimes have to check myself because sometimes I get frustrated with a student if it takes a long time to produce something because I'm like, I could do that in a few hours, you know, but I don't realize that.
yeah,
I don't realize like, oh, like some people, especially if you're a beginner,
yeah,
just figuring out what to do is
yeah,
what takes the time. But once you know what to do, it's like it gets faster and faster and faster because you don't have to make the same mistakes.
definitely.
But yeah, that's for the most part it. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say or keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just think obviously like my advice, if I could give any advice to people who want to join your course, it's like obviously anything new, you know, at the beginning might feel overwhelming, but again, what's really nice, you've broken everything up into different stages, you know, and you know, and already I'm on week 2 when I already feel, you know, 10 times confident before I start the course, you know.
Yeah,
So I think that just shows you how good the course is. And, you know, obviously, again, you're always on hand if you have any questions, which is fantastic because, you know, very naturally when you work in 3D, you hit a lot of walls, you know, like technical issues or things like that. And it's great, you know, we have the group, the community as well that you've made. So like you can pop in a question. So yeah, no, I feel very, you know, excited. Yeah, for the rest of the course for sure. Yeah. But yeah,
awesome.
I think that's it. I think that's all. Yeah, I think I can say so far. Sorry, because again, I've only been with you 2 weeks. I mean, you know, like I can't say anything else.
Awesome. Well, I love to see how happy you are. Yeah, thanks so much again for doing this call with me, and excited to keep going with you.
Definitely. No, look forward to it. Thank you so much, Rafa. Cheers for the chat.